Well, of course, the worst mission I remember was over in Munich on July 31st, 1944. The one to Russia was very memorable. My first one, of course, was you remember. The second one is a Leipzig, which was entirely different than the first one. So it's the bad ones I remember rather than the easy ones. Well, we were briefed about 10 o'clock in the morning of the night of the 5th of June, and we took off at 2 o'clock, and there's so many planes in the sky, we had to fly to Scotland to get it in 3 bomber streams coming back down toward the beaches. Our target that morning was a heavy gun emplacement between Caen and the Sword Beach, where the British troops were going to land. This is a pin from the first bomb I released on D-Day.
Wow.
It says pin from first bomb released on D-Day, 6:58 a.m., June 6, 1944. But we bombed the beach right before the British troops. It was cloudy, we couldn't see that much. We went back home and they refueled the plane and we ate and we took off again about 2. And we bombed Argentine, which is about 30 miles south of the beaches, at a railroad junction, so the Germans couldn't bring troops forward. And that afternoon was clear, and I could see the whole harbor with these, I read 7,000 vessels in there, battleships, cruisers, landing craft. It was an incredible sight. And the whole southern end of England, all you could see were cars and trucks and tanks on every street, road, and highway, as far as you can see. And I spent 14 half hours in the air D-Day. But I had it easy compared to those on the ground that really suffered, Omaha Beach and the other beaches.
And I believe you flew on 35 missions.
Yes, I did.
Which was more than ordinary, and a lot of the people who went on those bombing runs never came back. Do you have any sense of being lucky or anything
Yes,
like that?
about 80% casualty rate when I was flying. Originally it was 25 missions, and before D-Day they raised it to 30 because they couldn't release the crews, they were running out of them. And after D-Day they raised it to 35 because the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, wasn't the factor it had been earlier. And we had P-51s flying to protect us earlier. The P-47s, P-38s could only take us halfway to the target. And our losses are much greater then. But flak, the German anti-aircraft shell, was our biggest enemy. Well, I was in for 3 years and 3 months, but it took away that part, but it didn't change anything whatsoever. I think it came back the same as I left. More mature, of course, as an officer, and more disciplined. But I just went about my business, got a job, and went to work. I didn't dwell on the past. None of us did. I mean, I didn't talk about the war for 71 years. When I got the French Legion of Honor at the French Embassy in Washington, D.C. 4 years ago, it was on TV, not on TV, in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And one of my friends asked me if I'd speak to her group, which I did. And anytime I speak, people come up to me and say that their grandfather, their uncle, or their cousin fought in the war. They don't know what they did. I played cards with friends, socialized. One of my best friends is a bombardier. We never talked about the war. One of them captured the Battle of the Bulge, was a prisoner. We never talked about it. I never did until 4 years ago. I don't know why we didn't, we just didn't. And maybe you're right that we didn't want to think about what we went through, but I don't know what real reason. I mean, among ourselves, we should have talked about it, but we didn't, which is surprising. Now I wish we had. I'd ask for my friends some more questions, and I still have questions, and they're gone, unfortunately.
Did you ever think during that period of your life, did you think that you'd still be talking about it 75 years later?
Absolutely not. When I got out of the service, I figured if I lived in the 21st century, I'd be happy. Well, I've done that, so. Well, we've been fighting for 250 years, just about. I did my share, and I appreciate what they're doing too. They're carrying on. I think we have to keep fighting for our freedom and our liberties. I was only one of 16 million that fought in the war, and I did my job as well as all the others. We all were important, and it took all of us to win, plus 100 million American workers, Rosie the Riveters and the other men doing all the logistics to get us arms and trucks and tanks and planes and ambulances, shoes, whatever it was. It took the whole country. In fact, during the war, there were no cars made, no houses built. Meat was rationed, coffee was rationed, gasoline was rationed, shoes were rationed. That's the last time the whole country's gone to war. Since then, it's been a bystanding thing. There's a war going on, but people went about their own business.